Hi, my name is Sarah VANCUREN, and I'm going to read out this executive order by Governor Sisolak that was in early February 2020. I think this is something everybody should know, so like or don't like, share, or keep to yourself. This is truth. So this is executive order declaring certain public safety documents confidential and not subject to subpoena or discovery or inspection by the general public. Whereas Nevada Governor Steve Sisolak has been entrusted by the citizens of Nevada to provide for public safety, and whereas public disclosure of certain information regarding security vulnerability assessments create a substantial likelihood of compromising, jeopardizing, or otherwise threatening the public health, safety, or welfare of Nevadans. And whereas public disclosure of certain documents, records, or other items of information regarding the infrastructure and security of radio frequencies for transmissions used by response agencies would be detrimental to the interests of public safety. And whereas public disclosure of documents, records, or other items of information which may reveal the details of a specific emergency response plan would be detrimental to the interests of the public safety. And whereas Nevada Revised Statutes 239C.210 provides that certain documents, records, or other items of information prepared and maintained for the purpose of preventing or responding to an act of terrorism may be deemed confidential and not subject to subpoena or discovery and not subject to inspection by the general public. Now therefore, by the authority vested in me as governor by the Constitution and laws of the state of Nevada and the United States, it is hereby ordered that, this is section 1, assessments, plans, or records that evaluate or reveal the susceptibility of fire stations, police stations, and other law enforcement stations to acts of terrorism or other related emergencies are hereby deemed confidential and not subject to subpoena or discovery and not subject to inspection by the general public. Section 2. Drawings, maps, plans, or records that reveal the critical infrastructure of primary buildings, facilities, or other structures used for storing, transporting, or transmitting water or electricity, natural gas, or other forms of energy, fiber optic cables, microwave towers, or other vertical assets used for the transmission or receipt of data or communications used by response agencies and public safety and public health personnel are hereby deemed confidential and not subject to subpoena or discovery and not subject to inspection by the general public. Section 3. Documents, records, or other items of information which may reveal the details of a specific emergency response plan or other tactical operations by a response agency and any training related to such emergency response plans or tactical operations are hereby deemed confidential and not subject to subpoena or discovery and not subject to inspection by the general public.
Which, that's not right in itself, because we should be able to see anything that they have. What are they hiding, you know what I mean? Exactly so.
Section 4. Handbooks, manuals, or other forms of information detailing procedures to be followed by response agencies in the event of acts of terrorism or other related emergencies are hereby deemed confidential and not subject to subpoena or discovery and not subject to inspection by the general public. Section 5. Documents, records, or other items of information that reveal information pertaining to a specific equipment used for covert emergency or tactical operations of a response agency other than records relating to expenditures for such equipment are hereby deemed confidential and not subject to subpoena or discovery and not subject to inspection by the general public.
But that doesn't mean you can't order up and, you know what I mean, by law, you can see it. You have to go and get a
Subpoena.
Subpoena to see it.
But
Exactly.
it's not subject to subpoena.
But it's not subject to subpoena. That means...
You're getting it.
Yeah.
Section 6. Documents, records, or other items of information regarding critical telecommunications facilities and the infrastructure and security of radio frequencies for transmissions used by response agencies, including without limitation, access codes, passwords, or programs to ensure the security of radio frequencies for transmissions used by response agencies. That was A. B. procedures and processes used to ensure the security of radio frequencies for transmissions used response agencies, and C, plans to reestablish security and service with respect to radio frequencies for transmissions used by response agencies after security has been breached or service has been interrupted, are hereby deemed confidential and not subject to subpoena or discovery and not subject to inspection by the general public. Section 7. Vulnerability assessments and emergency response plans of utilities, public entities, and private businesses in the state, including departments, agencies, and instrumentalities of the state, general improvement districts, any of political subdivisions or tribal governments, are hereby deemed confidential and not subject to subpoena or discovery and not subject to inspection by the general public. So, in witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the great seal of the state of Nevada to be affixed, state capital in Carson City, this 4th day of February in the year 2020.
Sounds like they're trying to hide something.
So,
Basically.
many times it says, he's covered his tracks.
Yeah.
It says things like, not subject to the discovery,
Right.
subpoena, and inspection by the general public. So you'd have
Freedom
to
of
think,
Information Act doesn't fall under some kind of law that keeps it from the Freedom of Information Act, or
well, the thing
because
is,
it's
who would be
subject-
trying to subpoena?
well,
And then it answers it in the same sentence,
Right,
the general
exactly.
public.
The
So the
general
general
public,
public is
right.
going to be upset.
if they knew
about
what was
something.
going on. Yeah. So we need to question these people. We need to somehow get them under the limelight, and we need to get focused on what they're trying to hide. 'Cause
Why
they're
are
definitely
they
hiding
trying
something.
to? So why can't we ever know? We
Yeah,
we
what-
can't see any
are they
handbooks,
military?
manuals.
Are they military? It has to be military
Well,
in
it
nature to
said-
fall under like some kind of where the public has no way to subpoena it, to view it, to understand. They're spending our taxpayer money for
Well,
these things, and it's like those microwave towers that you brought up. They're all around us. These cell towers.
right.
What's
But
wrong
when it
with
comes
them?
to vertical assets, we stand vertical. So, and
Yeah,
it says other forms of energy. We are forms of energy.
We
You
are
see,
also an
when it
asset,
comes
too.
to transporting, it says right here, transporting
Human,
and transmitting water, electricity, natural gas, or other forms of energy.
which we are.
We are forms of energy,
We are also assets too.
and we are
vertically
vertical
stand.
assets. We
Yes.
are
Biological.
assets.
They don't state
we
that
may
part.
be debtors, but we are forms of energy, and that is what they
Yeah.
they're stealing our energy for their benefit.
You're biologically, you could
They're,
produce
they're
enough
supposed
energy.
to govern us, to shed light on us for our benefit.
Right.
They're supposed
So what are
to
they
have
hiding?
oaths to God, but they don't have them. They
Their
don't
oath
have
is
oaths
supposed
to
to
God.
be to the decree of the constitutional rights, and then they are subject to those laws, but really, are they taking the same oath? And I've read somewhere that they don't take the same oath of office as, say, the 3%ers or the military or somebody of this nature does, or as a citizen of the United States.
That's enough. That we'll talk about that in another video. That's important.
Yes.
But for now, we need to emphasize, the purpose of this video was to emphasize the executive order,
Exactly.
and that is, it was in February.
Mhm.
And this is talking about emergency response plans. It's talking about acts of terrorism. Terrorizing who? Terrorizing the company or terrorizing the people?
It's funny you said that too, because I
Right,
just saw
right. We
in
need to keep it short, though.
No, I know.
Keep
I
it
just
short.
saw in a little global thing they tried to say that the militias were plotting to kidnap a governor or some kind of terrorist kind of thing.
Okay, that's too much. That's too much.
I know,
now.
I'm
But
just
that's funny. That's funny. Okay, we're gonna
But
go on to the next
That
video.
just falls under what you said.
That was Executive Order 2020 on February 4th. Okay, of this year
You're good.
for Nevada. Thank you. Please like and subscribe.
Yeah.
Or not. Please hate and don't share it with
Trust me,
anybody.
she knows
Keep
what
to
she's
yourself.
talking about. She